Hi, I'm Ryan Jinks. Welcome to How Not to Invest. It took me a long time to figure out what kind of studio I was going to make for this particular side channel that I'm doing. And I think I've figured out my backdrop. Wherever I am. I am traveling around a lot now, doing a lot more adventures and living the dream. And so I figured it's more inspiring, instead of sitting in an office telling you how awesome my life is, to be out here and tell you how realistic my life is. I don't want to make van life or retiring early or anything like that sound too glamorous, and I want to not make this too YouTube-y, and I kind of wanted to be a little bit different than the other channel that I have on How Not to Highline, where we break test gear. Today I just wanted to talk about big picture on how not to invest, how not to save money and kind of go up the mountain here. The whole point of this channel is to inspire you to be financially smart and patient and help you discover your reason for wanting to be financially independent. I wanted to be financially independent so I can play on this rock more and explore different things around the world that are related to this kind of thing. And I finally get to do that now. I still have my painting business, and it generates a little bit of income just because I have my partner, my guy, doing most of the work, and so you only get a sliver if you're just running the business and not actually painting with a brush. But it's still a side hustle that I do, and this is now, the YouTube stuff is now my main thing, so I kind of flopped them. And as soon as, maybe in a year or two, hopefully sooner, I can just eliminate the painting altogether and really focus on this stuff. Because I find this rewarding in helping people, one, learn about gear, and then on this channel, to be inspired to be patient and be smart with money and to work hard. There's two ways to increase your net worth, and that is to make more money or spend less. And if you do both and you do them well, then you will steadily increase your net worth. Now, it's important to have assets and investments that go up in value, because when houses double, like they are pretty much doing right now, and when stocks go to the moon, and when crypto is now feeling expensive, then you don't own any of that, it's going to be pretty hard for you to get kind of into those markets. And then if they go down, you're kind of sitting for 5 to even 10 years on those investments before they actually do anything. It's nice to kind of buy in as you go. Dollar cost averaging is what they call that. It's hard to do that with like a full piece of real estate. So it's nice to be able to do that with stocks or even crypto. You can do more bite-sized stuff. Doesn't matter what stage in life you are, as long as you're moving forward, you're going to feel like you're making progress. And really that feeling is the most important thing, is that you're headed somewhere you want to be. Where do you want to be? That is really the question. I wanted the freedom to make more videos. I love telling stories. I love inspiring people. And so in order for me to do that more, I had to find a way to do that. And for me, it was lowering my bills substantially. I don't quite van life. I'm not quite sold on that concept. It's a little too cramped for my style. I do like to rent rooms in different places so I can feel like I have the benefits of a house without the responsibility of it. And I don't really, at this stage of my life, want to rent an entire house to myself, because that is also more responsibility. There is no one-size-fits-all answer, and so you have to figure out what works for you. Depends if you have kids and a family, or if you're just starting out in life, or you're just getting near the end of life and you want to reduce your expenses. What does that look like for you? Some people end up moving to cheaper areas. Some people just share living spaces. If you can reduce the biggest expenses you'll have, like a house and a car, then you're already way ahead. I'm happy eating pretty cheaply. I'm a climber, I'm a dirtbag, and I don't really need a super nice house in order for me to feel comfortable. And I just want a space to work on my computer. And I just kind of spent today on my laptop out here in Yosemite, just outside, and it was super fun. Now, while I make the transition from a steady painting income to a steady YouTube income, if I ever get there, I'm able to reduce my expenses, so I'm not chewing away at my net income. And then ideally, YouTube and websites and stuff will generate enough income that I can maybe spend more money in the future. But that's not important to me right now. It may not be important to me in the future. But I always am aware of, am I making more than I'm spending? Can I reduce my expenses? And how can I make more money? Now, any job you have is going to have a ceiling. Even the good paying jobs like Google or doctors or anything like that, it still has a ceiling. And you end up paying a ton in taxes if you have a high salary. And so really owning a business or having these side hustles that are like sort of owning a business. Like this YouTube thing is kind of like owning a business. It's still just YouTube. But that kind of stuff can generate money in something hopefully ideally you like doing. And you can typically write off a lot of the expenses, this is not tax advice, that is related to you doing that thing. And so a lot of the climbing stuff I'm doing is goes against the income that I get from the channel, and so like really doesn't cost me anything to really have fun at the end of the day. And so I've reduced my plane bill down to practically zero, and that's been the reason I was able to step in faith in transitioning from full-time YouTube, part-time painting into that role instead of full-time painting, because that was pretty hard. For 4 years I basically ran a painting business and did the YouTube thing on the side and never missed a Wednesday episode, and it was pretty hard, but I liked the hustle, I liked the storytelling, and 1 episode per week wasn't, all right, it was super hard. It was super hard to stay consistent, but that's sometimes what you got to do. That's why you have to make sure you love what you're doing. So how can you make more money if you're stuck in a job that can only go so far, so fast, or has a ceiling? What can you do on the side to make more money? And then how can you reduce your expenses? And if you do that over long term, investing periodically, let's say monthly, into stocks, crypto, whatever, and over 10 years, 20 years, if you just have that habit of always moving forward, then you will achieve financial success. I think some people make the FIRE movement look too glamorous. I think people spend too much time trying to reduce their expenses, like that's their hobby, is to live off little. My hobby is this. I want to play on this. Living cheap is just like a means to the end. And so you got to figure out what you love doing and how you can do more of it. And I also encourage people not to wait until they achieve financial independence in order to do that, because you don't know if you're going to live that long. You don't know if you're going to achieve it. You don't know if the economy is going to crash 90%, like people say, and take you out in the legs financially. So super important to enjoy life, work extra hard, take overtime if you can, work side hustles, live on less, and find a way that's sustainable for you to enjoy life, because man, it's pretty out here. Being a new channel, there's probably not going to be a ton of viewers, so put in the comments below. I'll engage a lot on this. I'm super interested in hanging out, talking, and engaging with people who are also on the journey of financial independence. I'd love to not just have my story on here and all the things that I think, but maybe have a lot of other people and their stories, because there's so many variables, so many different ways to skin this cat, and have them on the channel. And so if you want to be involved, please hit me up. I'd love to be surrounded by a community of people who are financially aware and financially intelligent and willing to live on less money in order to enjoy life more. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.